So here we have your comment that we've been excluded from the PM's strategy meeting. Chris Whitty, no doubt, is sure that it's because the Economic Secretariat in the Cabinet Office want to be able to present things about reopening without us contradicting them. The 2-metre rule meeting made it abundantly clear that no one in number 10 or the Cabinet Office had really read or taken time to understand the science advice. Quite extraordinary. Number 10 pushing hard on releasing measures. They're pushing very hard, and then this. And want the science altered. We need to hold on to our hats. There will likely be a second peak. In the economics meeting earlier in the day, they didn't realise CMO was there, and the Chancellor said it's all about handling the scientists, not handling the virus. They then got flustered when he chipped in. The common theme is that either SAGE is being ignored, or it's not being asked, or even a suggestion that the SAGE scientists should be handled in some way, or that their advice should be altered. Help us, was there a feeling, perhaps particularly at that time, that perhaps you weren't being asked for your advice in good faith?
Now, it doesn't surprise me that there were meetings that we were not included in. That's normal. We were, as I said, in number 10 probably for 45 minutes or an hour, and there were things going on all day and political decisions as well. So it's not surprising that we were not invited to things sometimes. And it definitely is the case that there were times when, because we were giving unpalatable evidence and advice, people would rather not hear it. And I think that probably is a normal part of politics, and our job was to make sure that we weren't in the politics. We were continuing to make that advice as heard as we could make it.
But did you feel that you were in some way being manipulated or handled, or that your advice was, people were asking you to change your advice?
Well, I don't think anyone, well, I know nobody actually got us to change our advice. I mean, the example of somebody maybe putting pressure on us to do it, we wouldn't do. And I think there's a WhatsApp exchange you've got where Matt Hancock asked me to change something, and I say, no, we're not going to change our advice, because that's where the evidence bit comes in, that you've got to at least see that, even if you disagree with it and you don't want to do it. But I'm absolutely sure, because politicians are politicians, that there were attempts to manage us and make sure that we were not always given the access that we might need. But I think overall, we actually managed to get through all of that and make sure that the advice and the evidence was heard. So I don't know what damage it did, and I'm not sure exactly what I'd recommend for the future on that, because it seems to me that's partly the nature of the way the political system seems to operate.